Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are back. This is episode 284, Hard Truths. This is the 2024 comedy drama film written and directed by Mike Leigh. Set in London, its plot follows the plight of a depressed and naysaying woman, played by Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and the relationship with her jovial sister, Chantelle, played by Michele Austin. Look, so we're going, across the pond. We don't do enough foreign films, in my opinion. So I'm excited to do this. And neither one of us had seen this ahead of time. Micah, what were your thoughts on this?
There's a movie out about a woman who's just kind of been put through the ringer. And, she's having a really bad time of it. And a lot of people have wanted us to, think about doing it. And I can't. And I'm really glad that I remember this movie exists about a Black woman who's having a real hard go of it. And I think this movie is fascinating. I won't say it was a fascinating watch, right? Because it's hard to say like, oh, this is enjoyable, right?
There are moments.
Yeah, there are funny moments, but like this is it's a comedy drama, but this is very much grounded, right? Like, everyone wants us to do Straw, but like Straw is unbelievable, right? Whereas this is kind of like Straw, but like if a normal person like wrote it, if
a normal person wrote it, yes, no, your first instinct was correct.
I mean, but like if a normal person like this is normal. This is what real life actually looks like, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, people say, oh, well, Tyler Perry, he's writing real life. He's writing real life. And, those extremes, I suppose, happen.
No, they don't.
but this happens far more frequently. Like this woman, this character reminded me of my Aunt Ruth. Not to this extreme,
right?
But she was a woman that would criticize, and she liked people, but she didn't like people, and she had like a little bit of depression, but we didn't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a big part of this movie, I would argue.
Yeah.
We don't quite know what's going on.
We don't quite know what's going on, and it is a perfect movie to compliment the preview episode for it about
ironically
taking care of yourself and talking to people and maybe seeking therapy or some sort of help when you need it. Yeah, this was a fascinating movie, man. And I was watching with my wife. She was like, yeah, I thought there was going to be like a plot twist, right? Or at least like a happy ending, quote unquote. And I'm like, that is the twist, right?
Surprise, life is fucking hard.
Right. Life is hard. And life doesn't have easy answers, and life doesn't wrap itself up, and life doesn't necessarily figure itself out. This was fascinating, man. I recommend it, but like I'm probably not gonna watch this again for my own enjoyment, but I would watch it if I needed to try and convey a message to someone and not know how to speak to them about it.
Okay.
Like if I need to talk to somebody that like might have that might be in some sort of depressive state, and it's because it's difficult in our community to kind of bring that stuff up, in any community, but especially our community, right?
Yes.
Like especially if you are an older person, like they don't want to hear go to therapy, right? I would sit down with them and watch this movie and, hopefully generate some
This is
conversation.
you. Are you paying attention?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Like I would hope that this would generate some sort of conversation. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
Fast
so.
is
Yeah,
my
I thought this was really fascinating. First off, I think it's written and directed quite well. So shout out to Mike Leigh for that. But Marianne Jean-Baptiste puts in a fucking clinic on playing a person who is going through it. Right. She's great. I think she's a wonderful actress. All the time, but I really enjoyed her in this. Um, when I'm watching the movie, all I could think was, okay, like she clearly has like agoraphobia, right? Which is like the fear of like out or like open spaces, right? Just it's kind of a fear of open spaces, that sort of thing. She clearly has that. And then it's just the sort of the lack of emotional regulation is just put on full display throughout like these scenes, and you're just like, oh, okay, we are not together. Like we are. This is far beyond sort of the agoraphobia type of stuff. And like all I could think of is like I immediately started after I finished it. It's like just Googling like what could be the diagnosis for someone who has these, like all of the things that she's kind of going through. And it jumped out at me and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Borderline personality disorder, right? Like, which comes from potentially from like childhood traumas and, abuse and things like that. And if you're watching the movie, they have this scene, which we'll get to, they have this scene in the graveyard and it's like half the movie is you sort of ramping up to seeing this woman and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like people who are not particularly open to understanding or just don't have the understanding of people with mental illness would just be like that first half would be like, wow, she's a raging bitch, right? Like, I just feel like that would be the easiest diagnosis. And then the graveyard scene hits and you're like, the movie's like, hey, in case you haven't picked up on this, here's her humanity. And here's like why she may be the way that she is. And I feel like you go from being like, wow, this woman's a real pain in the ass to hitting that scene and being like, I feel deeply sad for this character, right? Like, I feel like that's the sort of the arc I would imagine for a lot of the audience. And it really does a good job of sort of putting you in the seat of people who have to deal with her in that first half or first third rather. And you're just kind of like, oh, this woman is a real pain in my ass, to then this major scene. And then after that, you're like, you start to see her from either sort of behind her eyes or from the people who are closest to her sister, her husband, and her son. And then you're just like, oh shit. Like, maybe everything I thought about this person is kind of like a half-ass understanding. Look, it's a wonderfully done film. Like, it's very simple in a lot of ways. And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean, like, sometimes you got a point to make and you make it and it comes across very cleanly. And I think that's what happens in this movie. But I really enjoyed it. But if you are just like, mental illness, like, is it real? Yeah, like, I feel like maybe you won't get this. But maybe you get it in the last 2/3 of the movie. But I think they did a really wonderful job of kind of pulling you through that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do recommend it to people, and especially
sure.
people
Sure.
who don't quite get, why people might be the way they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed. Very impressed with this. This is one of the better movies I've seen that we're reviewing here.
Yeah. No, it's kind of a sleeper, right? Like, you're like, okay, like it's a little bit of a slow start, and then things start popping off, and you're like, oh shit, and you just kind of like you start going down this rabbit hole, right? And just in the amount of stuff that I read about sort of trauma and sort of emotional dysregulation and stuff like that, it was just like some of that stuff was like blaring. It's just like these like giant flashing lights. But yeah, I thought Marianne Jean-Baptiste did a really good job conveying that. I just thought she was excellent, really, really good. And her husband, Curtly, I believe the character's name is this poor son of a bitch. Like my man is like he's hanging on the wing of a plane, dude. Like just trying to get through it. And the son, Moses, is also just kind of a victim of the circumstances as well, which is just really kind of sad to see in a lot of ways. So yeah, everybody's got a role to play. There's a couple of things I'm curious of your thoughts on with some of the other characters, but yeah, I thought it was good. I really, really enjoyed it. So if you have a chance to watch Hard Truth, I would highly recommend it. I think both of us would.
So there's a lot of like the plot is not meaty, so we're probably going to be stepping through some of it. We're probably gonna jump around a bit.
Yes.
So the movie opens up and the character's name is Pansy Deacon. Somebody named Deacon is crazy. Ooh, what a shock, right?
Yeah, right.
And and
practically writes itself.
And she wakes up screaming, right? Like she's having like bad dreams, night terrors, and stuff like that. She wakes up screaming, and she does this a lot in the movie. I remember my wife, before she was my wife, we would when our relationship was early but steady, I would wake up and I hated my job, right? This was when I had that job that I hated, right? And I would wake up and I would curse every day. I would wake up and I would say, shit, right? And
that's a wild way to wake up.
And she said, and I would do it so much that she said, you really need to stop that. You need to figure out what's wrong, and you need to stop, because you shouldn't be waking up every day cursing, and not like swearing, like cursing, right? And she was right, and we talked about it, and it was because of my job, because I hated it, and it sucked. And she said,
"How long did you work there, by the way? The United States Patent and Trademark."
1 year, and it was
it wasn't that long, was it?
Yeah, it was shit, dude. 1 year, and it was awful. It was awful. But I've talked about that.
I've never seen you more depressed in my entire life than that fucking year,
Jesus
dude.
Christ, man, chasing money.
Like a whore.
And right.
It just proves, it just proves. Oh, look at this job, makes so much money. That's not a winning argument, like it's not.
Right. It really isn't. Really isn't.
The job I had when I made the most money, I was like, I would rather throw myself out of this fucking building than to be here. Like, money is not everything,
man. No. Like you can pay you a 6-figure salary. We gotta bash each and every one of your digits with a hammer every day. You're not gonna do it,
Yeah, like
get out of here.
That's what it felt like in my last job mentally. So
right. So, and she was like, "Look, you can't do," and and this is kind of the reason why, because like this woman, this character, something. This is what they call generational trauma. Like this is the result of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
absolutely,
decades upon decades of shit just kind of happening and not going your way and stuff like that. And she caught that early. She's like, "Look, if I'm going to marry you, you can't like be taking all this in and not letting some of it out and not talking about it, because that's how you get embittered with the world. And that's what this character is. She starts off cursing, and it just reminded me of that. I was like, Jesus Christ,
This could have been me.
This could have been me. This could have been me. Someone who eventually married somebody that she didn't really love just to not be alone.
That's some. Well, yeah, not your wife. Yeah.
No, but someone, like
Yeah.
it could have happened to me, yo. Like,
Yeah, look, this is a. Yeah, this. Damn, nigga. Coming over to my house, you and your sad ass family sitting there. We're drinking prosecco, having a good time. I guess we'll. You got that too. Like, oh, come on,
right?
Man.
I ain't even had that outlet. I ain't, because I don't drink. I ain't even had that outlet. So yeah, she woke up, and then we kind of see she wakes up cursing, and we kind of see what this character is, right? She's hyper clean, right? She keeps a sterile household, right? Not like no plants. You don't even have a plant, Like, it's super clean, which, I'm all for. But like, there's no plants in the house. There's no life in the house. And she's wiping down things that are already clean, and she just wakes up miserable. And she goes, and her son is there, and he's 22, and he's living in the house, and he's just like, he's depressed because he feels like everything he does is wrong, right? Because this woman is passing down this trauma to her child, right? To the next generation, right? And he's just like, I got to get out the house, right? Like, I'm going for a walk. And she just chastises him about going for a walk. And
yeah, she says that she's afraid that people will accuse him of loitering, right? Because she's afraid the cops are going to be like harassing him and stuff like that. Which, again, that's a part of the sort of the agoraphobia. Like, there is a fear of fear as well, right? Like, she's terrified for herself going out. I mean, she does, but like, she don't really enjoy that shit. And she's also afraid of what could potentially happen to her son, even though he's like, I'm just going for a walk. Like, there's nothing about Moses. I mean, besides like, he's just like a big dark skinned dude. Like, there's nothing about him. Like, he's not into drugs or, you know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing about him that's menacing or anything to a potential other person, except for like, he's a black man. Like that's just it. I don't know. For some reason, I mean, yes, I think there is a level of depression with him, but I also saw him as being kind of coded as being not neurotypical. I don't know if you caught that at all. Like, at least it felt that way to me in some of the scenes.
I didn't get that.
But it could just be depression. I don't know.
I figure, they cast this guy for a reason, right? Like, the way he's made up to look kind of shabby. He's kind of slovenly. He's not in the best like shape for what we would traditionally consider someone to be in shape.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's just a big dude. And yeah, I just didn't get it, but maybe, right? Yeah. At one point he's kind of like playing with a toy and listening to like music or whatever, and his mom comes in and starts screaming at him about his lack of ambition, right? And he flips her off when she leaves, right? Because he's just like, yo, fuck you, yo. Like, I can't, but like at the same time, like, that's your mom, right? And you're not gonna, we don't do what white people do and just start like cursing out our parents and shit.
No, that's not a thing. That's definitely not a thing.
I've met some of the bougiest black people in the world, and none of their kids curse them out, or they don't curse their parents out. Like, get out of here, man. Like,
no,
I don't understand that.
Absolutely not. Here's a reason why I thought he was coded, and I just remembered. It's not. I don't think it's in this scene, but it's later on. He's reading a child's book called The Big Book of Planes, and I just thought that was. I was like, okay, that's like, yeah, he's clearly into planes. Like, he's playing like a flight simulator thing, but like, he's reading what looks like a book for like a 3 or 4 year old. So it was like, I just thought that was kind of odd. And I think that was probably one of the things that make me think he was sort of coded for not being neurotypical. I mean, he's clearly cool. He's got a Nintendo Switch, so I mean, you got to respect that. We do see a scene of Curtly, her husband, and his work partner. They're taking out a radiator out of somebody's house, not theirs, and they just go stand outside. And there's a lot of scenes like this where his work partner is like, "Yeah, it's a nice day," and Curtly's like, "Yeah, like it is." And I was like, "What is the point of this scene?" And then by the end of the movie, I was like, "Oh, these are his only like moment. Like this is his like respite from the sort of the madness that is his house when he comes home." Like, so it's like, yeah, just staring up at a nice day after like doing some work. It's like, yeah, this is really nice, and this is the only kind of enjoyment I get before I go into my home. That is just, I mean, it's really rough. Like it's just really rough for him. I don't wish that on anybody. Maybe a few people, but not him. He seems like a nice guy.
I can't imagine not wanting to go home. Like my home life is that bad that like I don't want to be there.
Yeah,
I'd rather be at work. Like, oof, Jesus Christ.
Or I'd rather just be anywhere else. She has a freak out on Moses that I thought was valid. Like, you're not going to make that like sandwich or whatever and just leave the knife with peanut butter all over the counter. That would piss me off too. I'm like, yo, you 22, get your ass up. In that moment, I was like, you know what, Pansy, you're 100% correct. Like, no fucking nuts. But yeah, that's where she yells at him about having dreams and ambition. And he's just like, you know, he's like every other gamer. He's not doing shit with his life because gamers are like the laziest people in the world. It's how I read this thing. And yeah, they're just fucking. He's just sitting there. He's not responding to her. She's just yelling at him, and she's like, "I am not your servant," which is how she ends that scene and slams the door. And then that was where he was like, "Fuck you, mom." She ain't here. She oh shit. So for his own personal safety. And then we see Pansy laying on the couch. She's watching TV, and she keeps getting up and like looking outside. It's like because she has an energy about her that's just she can't relax. She cannot just enjoy. I mean, quite literally, she says she cannot enjoy life. Which I'm just like, get this woman some fucking help, man. It's like therapy and or drugs. You need them. No, she's like borderline personality disorder. Like, yo, you can't pray that shit away. Like, you just can't. Like, your mind is not regulated. Like, it's just not. It's sad. It's fucking sad. And then her husband comes home, and she's just like, he's like, "Hey, you good?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm not good." And it just starts just what seems like a solid soliloquy of just pissed off complaints about the most random shit.
It's like that Chris Rock bit where it's like, as soon as the husband comes home, he gets one foot in the door, and it's like, and it's just like, what the fuck? I just got in the door, and where's my big piece of chicken? Like, what the hell,
Let me
yo?
get something to eat. Let me get something to drink. Yeah. No, it's definitely that. Like, I thought of it as that, you know, in Fences, when you meet Denzel Washington and he has that monologue for like the first, it's like 4.5, 5 minutes where like you meet him and he never stops talking. He's like, he ends up talking to like 2 or 3 people, gets all the way to his house from his job, all the way through talking in the backyard, all the way to the dinner table. He never stops talking. And then like the monologue ends. That's what this is like. And you're like, God damn. Like, what is going on? And she's just complaining about everything: the kitchen floor, birds out back, the neighbors, some bald-headed baby.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is a baby gonna do with pockets? You know, put a baby knife in the baby pocket. I mean, look, the dinner scene was funny, yo. Like, her complaining about, like it's just amusing to me, right?
Oh yeah, she was going off.
like this is like these were like moments like this were very like Curb Your Enthusiasm-esque to me, right? Like,
Oh yeah, no, they're legitimately.
yeah, like Larry David, like musings about things that just don't matter. Right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's the lighter parts, right? Like this is the levity of the movie. And then you see Kurtley goes and sees Moses in his room, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." It's like, "Did you go out today?" "Yeah." "Where'd you go?" And then Moses just doesn't say anything. And I think he's tired of having to explain himself as a human being.
I think he doesn't know where. I think he doesn't know where he's going. I think quite literally that's why he didn't answer, because he doesn't know where he's going, because he doesn't have any direction. He feels like his mom. It feels like everything he does, his mom's going to complain about. His dad, fathers and sons. It's weird, yo. It's weird. Like the Huxtables got everybody all fucked up, man. Like it is. It's not. It's weird.
And well, it's not constant banter. Like I have that with my daughter. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to talk about right now.
Exactly. And it's just like, and yeah, you need to be more open and you need to talk more. That's why I make a conscious effort to like, how was your day? Like, what did you do today? Right. Like, and I'll do that. But then my son will be like, nothing. And then like,
I was going to ask, I don't know how open is he about that? Because my daughter is not. She's very much a closed book.
It depends on what it is, right? Like if he didn't have an eventful day, like he obviously did things, but he won't. There's nothing, right? Like he went to camp today and was like, "This is what you do today." I was like, nothing. Oh, I went and did a paddle boat. I was like, oh, okay, well then that's something. And I'm trying to get right, and I'm trying to get better at like follow ups. Right.
Yeah. Because my wife is amazing at that, because she's trained as a teacher. So she understands those things. I'm like, all right, that was a good answer. I'll see you in 20.
Awesome. Great.
right. It's like, what kind of fucking responses are we like giving? But it's true. It's absolutely true.
But and that's that's I feel like this father and son have that relationship. Yeah. Right. Like because they. But they don't want to like talk shit on their mom/wife. No. But that's the thing that they have in common. Is it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, she wilding, dog. Right. I mean, it is quite funny to try to have those conversations with your kids, especially at the age our kids are, right? They're 6. And it's just kind of one of those things where you're just like, what's going on over there? Like when you're 10, you got better stories, right? Like you're 10, 12 years old, you can just you can keep up with your parents, right? Like you can. Dude, you know what I try to do? I try to throw in things that create questions in her head. Like we'll be reading a book or whatever. I'm like, what do you think about that? And she's like we had a whole conversation this morning reading a book, and somehow like a tiger was brought up or whatever. She's like, well, tigers are very mean. And I was like, well, they're not really mean. They're like protecting their cubs and stuff. And she was like, oh. And then she just went off in this whole thing. And I was like, well, remember in Zootopia, like not all the predators are bad. They were like, they're actually pretty good unless something else happens. And she was like, oh, okay. And so she like goes in this whole tangent. I was like, cool. Now we can have a conversation, right? Like, but like, how was your day? I ain't do nothing. I'm stuck.
Right. I don't know what to do, because I can't say why. Like I'm trying to learn how to say why more. Like, well, why do you think this? Right? Why do you think this? Why do you think that?
Right.
I can't say that. Like, what did you do? Nothing. Why?
I don't know. I'm 6. Fuck you, Dad. You tell me why. Right? That's my job. I say why until it drives you crazy. Yeah, it was like the other morning I was driving her to school, and somehow we were talking about like this. She was like, where does because she doesn't know what God is. She was like, somebody said something to her at school, and she was like, what's God? I was like,
wow,
I love you.
nothing about religion and John.
No, why? Neither one of us believe in it. So like she was like, she didn't know what that was. Like a long time ago, some kid was like something Jesus. She was like, who was that? That was like very good. You're doing great.
It's pronounced Jesus.
Right. He's in your class. Knock it off. You know him. But yeah, she's something about the solar system or something. And she was just like, well, where does that all start? And I was like, well, there's something called the Big Bang Theory. And I was talking to her about that. And like, she was like kind of getting it a little bit. I mean, again, she's 6. And she's like, oh, like, and then people came and we're on Earth and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah. And then I asked her, because I was like, all right, here's a perfect, like, let me lob a question in and just like let that explode into 30 other questions. I was like, cool, this will last us the entire drive. And I was like, okay, so why do you think some people are different colors then? And she was like, well, I guess the sun is not in certain areas. And I was like, fuck yes. And I was like, all right, keep going, explain it. I was like, what about white people? She was like, is it because they're made of snow? And I was like, all right, that's very funny. It's like, but I just let her go. And right. And then you could have this interesting, fun conversation with her. But yeah,
it's funny
like,
that your 6-year-old daughter knows that white people are snowflakes.
She does know. Every day when she wakes up, I was like, never forget. Never forget what they did to us. Which is no, but what are those books? What are those books we have for her? Anna and Andrew. They're kids' books. They take place in DC, and it's a black family. And so they just like, they deal with black ass issues. They're like, all right, we're going to Ghana to, go on a trip. And they're like, here's the port of no return. This is where slaves were taken. I'm like, God damn, these are like little kids. But hey,
Jesus.
Yeah, they're actually really adorable books. But yeah, it does not hold back. This is Frederick Douglass. Look what white people did to him. It's fucking terrible. Type of shit. So that's amazing. Yeah, so they have a really hard time just sort of talking. Because Pansy, she eats up all the space too, right? Like she's just sitting there and she's just doing another one of these monologues talking about how people at the grocery store who like ask you to like, sign up for some petition. She was like, they're scammers. They want your phone number and your email and your social security number, your postal code. And it was like, okay, a lot of that's not true. Relax. And then, they'll come in your house and kill my only child. And like, and meanwhile, Moses is like,
they both stopped. Like,
what? What the fuck are you talking about? But no one says anything. And because I have to imagine that level of, I don't want to say trauma, but that level of I'm trying to be, respectful. That level of sort of whatever mental situation she's going through, that's got to just take up so much oxygen in the room, right? Because you're trying not to like, you don't want to get in the way, right? Like if Moses says something, he's going to get his fucking head torn off. If Kurt Lee says something, he's going to get his head torn off for whatever reason. Like who knows? And so they're both trying to like walk a very thin line, but I mean, ultimately it damages all of them because they're just standing there just taking this shit instead of going, fucking hold up for a second. What the fuck?
Look, being friends with a blowhard of 30 years, right. I know that, when they start going, they're kind of like juggernauts, man. Sometimes you just got to let them go. And then, you got to weave your way in to make your point across.
No, that's true. And I'm glad Terrence is not here this week to really to be that person. It's really and they're never self-aware. It's really sad. Look, I'm not just one of these douchebags on the internet who says this, but I am a non-neurotypical person, right? I don't think I have borderline personality disorder. But maybe Micah could be a better judge of character for that. Like, I don't know, maybe. There's a lot of similarities. But yeah, look, I realize that. Like it's a thing. Like it really is a thing. Again, I don't think I'm where Marianne Jean-Baptiste's character is, but
no, I think very few people are, but I do think those people exist, and I think they exist far more than
100%.
than you might think.
Oh yeah, At first, I was like, is she manic depressive or something like that? But she doesn't have any mania. I mean, I
No,
guess not like happy mania, right? Which is what you would think of.
yeah, like she doesn't. She's always on 10, right? She's never on 2.
Never.
And
Unless she's
and unless she's sleeping, and even then, she's not, because she's having these weird dreams and she's waking up screaming, right? Like, I'm assuming she's having weird dreams. She's waking up screaming, and people who have a good night's sleep do not wake up screaming. Like, they just don't. Like, her mind is always working. And
that's terrifying to me.
yeah, because she's hyper aware, and that is I don't know. We cut to a scene of her sister, who is a hairdresser. And it's a funny little scene of just like people
Chantelle.
doing what they do when they're in the hairdresser, right? Like, she's got a client, and the client is just kind of telling this story about like how her husband is kind of like the client is like, oh, I gotta hide all these grays and these gray hairs, and my husband, he's got black hair, and because he don't have nothing, he don't worry about nothing. And hearing these like British and West Indian accents is like, man, I kind of want to move there, man.
Look,
you know what I mean?
Look, I had a thought when I watched this movie. I was like, if you're looking for some good looking ass African women and you don't want to go all the way to Africa, apparently Britain is loaded with them. Because
there you go, bro.
like, god damn, all these fine ass Nigerian women. And this scene is really funny. Look, also the sort of West African thing of sucking your teeth when you're kind of annoyed by something is one of the funniest things to me. I love it. Like, culturally, I just think it's hilarious. Even though I find mouth noises to be obnoxious, generally. But yeah, her whole idea of there's all this like, I could just leave him type of shit. I could still be out there. It's like, relax, like relax, just relax. Not that you couldn't be, because she's a very good looking woman, but there's a lot of talk of just like, just leave him, girl. Fuck him. Everybody, fuck him. Like, like, nah, that's like, relax. But her sister is single. She left her husband. So I think that's a part of it. And that being juxtaposed to Pansy, who very much stayed with Curtly, even though you find out like she doesn't like him. Right. And the fucked up thing is, like, later on, her sister's like, yeah, just fucking come stay with us. Fuck Curtly and Moses. Like, they're grown men. They'll be fine. And I'm thinking to myself, she doesn't like them because she's unregulated. Like, is that really her feeling? You know what I mean? Like she does this thing where she kind of validates it, but at the same time, I'm like,
I mean, but you don't know how long this character's been this way. She could have been like this for 30 years, right? Like, I think this is, I think this stems from childhood, right? Because she's had these
100% that
right. She's had these feelings ever since mom always liked you better, right? Like, she's always had these feelings, and she says she married Curtly initially because she was afraid of being alone.
Yeah,
not because she loved him, right? Like,
sure.
I will take her at her word when she says that, and I get what the sister is doing what the sister is supposed to do. She's saying, look, if you don't like this person, maybe he is the reason why you are acting like this. Maybe you should leave. Maybe you won't be alone. You've got me.
Yeah,
I 100% get what the sister was doing at that point. But
I do. I guess, and this is my own personal bias, but I was waiting for someone to be like, you need to go talk to somebody. And that never happens in the movie, right? Like, and maybe she has tried in the past or whatever, but it's like, the ending is incredibly sad to me. Like it really is, and I feel horrible for the husband, and I feel horrible. I feel horrible for Kurtley, and I feel horrible for Pansy, especially. Like Moses has kind of a nice ending, actually. Again, if you're looking for some fine Nigerian women, just go sit in a fucking park in London. It'll work out for you. They'll give you gummy worms. It's amazing. Who doesn't like those? So yeah, it's. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that there was going to be some moment of like, but you know, to like your wife's point, like there's no happy ending. It's like, yeah, the ending is like, yeah, life sucks. So yeah, I was just hoping that somebody would say, like her sister would be like, look, you need to go talk to somebody. And then she would like maybe be like, all right, I'll see. Right. Like even if it was that, not that she goes to therapy and it's all fixed. I'm not.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. How many people, especially people of that generation, even consider that to be an option?
Well, that's yeah. I think that's very much probably the point.
Yeah.
Which sucks because this is never going to get better, right? Like Kurtley is not the problem. Like he's just not the problem. Like, okay, you might have married the guy because of, you know, you didn't want to be alone. Fair enough, right? But he's not the problem. Like that guy has literally nothing in that character has ever done anything, and from what we can see, that was even remotely negative towards her or anything. He is unbelievably just like, whatever you want to do. Like he doesn't really push back on anything. He doesn't really say anything. All right, I can't watch these fine British women twerking while I'm talking. This is pause the movie for a second. But yeah, like there's nothing about him that felt, at least from an outsider's perspective, offensive to her as a character. But I feel like she is just, everything is offensive, right? Like, so like, does she care about Kurtley? Maybe, maybe not. By the end, I'm not so sure. I don't know, right? But it's like, you're under the fog of whatever she's got going on. Which is really, I mean, there's a lot of people who have very strong feelings one way or the other about a person, and then they take medication or they go to therapy, and it changes for better or for worse. They're like, oh, I thought I would really want to be with this person. They're like, I don't want to be with this motherfucker at all. I got to get the fuck out of here. Or the vice versa. It was like, maybe I didn't think this was going to work. And it's like, oh shit. Then you can like, the glasses come off, rose colored glasses, so to speak, come off. And then you're like, you can see that person for real and who they are. So that was a part of my disappointment, but that's my own personal bias is what I would say. So, but I don't know, like it would be really hard to be married to somebody like that. Cause I mean, it's clear that Kurtley cares for her quite a bit, right? Like he does. I mean, I assume like he wanted to marry her, right? But I don't like, what did he see at that time? Was she like this that whole time? Like, how long did they date? 9 minutes? Because, like, 3 days, I'd be like, I'm out. God damn. For real? Just take it to the grocery store, see how it works out. It's not gonna.
I mean, you know, any number of scenarios could have happened, right? She could have,
he was deaf.
They could have had a oops a baby 22 years ago. And
that's true. That's true.
Let's just do it. Like any number of scenarios could occur, but
get rid of it.
So there's so we meet the sister and we see that she has 2 adult daughters, named Fine and Sexy, and I think their names are Kayla and Alicia. And yeah, basically we just kind of establish like who these people are, right? Like the sister, Chantelle, and her daughters are quote unquote normal, right? They're living life. They, you know, the sister is very cheerful. The daughters are, you know, just, you know, chatting about men and, you know, doing what women do or whatever. And we see that they are quote unquote neurotypical, and the interactions between Pansy and Chantelle are some of the best in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
because it is still Pansy complaining, but she is complaining to someone who we know loves her 100% unconditionally and is patient with her, right? To patient and not tolerant, right? Like
Mm.
there's a difference,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like I hate when people, especially on our side of the political aisle, they like they use the word tolerant. Like
It's not a good word, yo. That's a
it's
bad word.
not. It's really not. To tolerate someone is to like put up with in spite of, right?
Right.
Like
I'm very
you may
tolerant of those people.
right, you may think that, but like that's that uppity shit that people hate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and there's a big difference between like being tolerant of someone and actually like being
Acceptable.
invested in them, accepting, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's some of the better stuff, and it's it's really really good dialogue. And Pansy's and Chantelle is like, hey, you know, you're gonna come with me to see to Mom's gravesite. It's Mother's Day. We can, let's just do flowers. And Pansy's she's very like resistant to that. She's like,
Did you
maybe
did.
right, you did. Like, what the fuck what's the point, right? What's the point of dropping the flowers off? She ain't gonna see them, so who cares? It's like, and the sister's egging her on, like, come on, like, do it. She's like, I'm not committing to nothing. All right.
I
Then we
got
cut to
God damn.
we cut to a scene.
This the grocery store?
This is the Marlowe furniture
Oh,
over
the
there.
furniture store. This scene is funny.
This
Not
is
since the
the
man
Larry
in
David.
3B. Not since man in
Yeah,
3B have there been a greater furniture scene.
yeah. This is the Larry David portion of the movie, right? Like, she sees people on testing couches and she's yelling and screaming at them like, what the fuck are you, like, what are y'all doing? Like over there keying and laying it all out and stuff like that. And what's like cut it out. Get a room, basically, right?
Yo, she was like, "You purchasing the sofa? You're over here because it's like a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, or whatever, and they're young, right? They're like probably buying their first couch, and the wife is like laying up on the guy, like, "Ooh, this could be us and stuff." And she comes up, she's like, "You're all gyrating all over the place, perspiring up the couch, like, get the fuck off of this." Yo, she's so ornery, yo. Like she mad for no reason. Like these people ain't bothered nobody. She's just mad for no reason. Then this woman comes over, works at the furniture store. She's like, "Oh, can I help you?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm looking at a couch." He's like, "Well, we got loads, we got chairs," and she just proceeds to rip this white woman to fucking shreds for no reason. For no reason. It's like,
What, you think I can't do it? I could walk. I know what I want. I'm not looking for chairs. I'm looking for sofas. Like, what the?
she was like, "I'm not an invalid." She was like, "I wasn't suggesting you were an invalid. I'm sorry." That shit had me fucking cracking up. She's so mad.
Like, oh, I'm just trying to help. I don't need your help. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, yo.
And that's the time I would get fired from that job. I'd be like, "Yo, go fuck yourself." You know? I don't need this shit.
I mean, I thought this woman was about to, because like she walks away and then immediately come back and she's like, "Look, I'm just trying to do my job. You ain't doing your job. You harassing me. Why don't you go show off and share your expertise with someone else?"
No. You're burying the lead because she's like, because the white girl's got like, she doesn't have big boobs, right? She's just standing there, right? Like, but she's like, why don't you go show your expertise? like she's like showing her tits. It was like she wasn't at all. She's just standing.
She's
It's
wearing
the
a
one
polo,
time I feel
like, what the
right.
fuck?
Like, it's the least sexy fucking thing you could wear. It's just hilarious. It's like I don't ever feel sorry for white people almost in any scenario ever. This is the one time like, that white girl ain't do nothing. She ain't do nothing. She just trying to help. It's like, all right, you're just getting personal. She's like, you threatening me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ. No,
She
this
was like, I
character
don't
could
like
be
your
on.
face. I don't like your face. You wear too much makeup. Well, now you're personal. You threatening me? Like, yo, what? What's going on?
She was like, "You're
She said, what if
intimidating
that
me."
makeup? She said, what if that makeup comes off on all the furniture? You just being selfish.
Yeah,
What?
like, yeah. We'd be like, it'd be some furniture moving in there. Like, yo, all right, Pansy, we gotta fight. You gotta calm down. Oh shit. And of course, she asks for the manager, and then she, as the woman walks off, she immediately leaves, because she knows that she's gone too far, but like she cannot regulate her emotions.
It's like those people who just like have to argue and cannot back down ever. You just gotta argue, you just gotta needle them. I think, what was it? You see something on the internet and you just gotta argue.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the internet's for. They didn't make it for information. They made it to fucking argue with dumb people on the internet. Like, duh. Again, if I see something happen on the internet, I can't turn away. Yeah, so she goes into the car, and again, she's in the parking lot in her car, and she's just sitting, right? And again, she's seething. She's seething, right? Like after reading a YouTube comment, she's just seething. She cannot believe she has to live on the planet with these people. And this black dude drives up.
I think honestly, when she's in the car, that first scene where she's like gives that like really big like exhale, I think she regrets it, right? I think she regrets what she did to that woman.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I get that.
But she's like fuck, like she knows she can't help herself. Mm-hmm. It's like when you know something's wrong, but you don't know what it is or how to fix it. And it's incredibly frustrating. I think she's really, really frustrated at this point.
She's angry at herself.
She's very much angry at herself. And then here comes another perfect like curb moment, right? Where some dude is just like, hey, you sweetheart, you leaving? And she doesn't see him because she's like in her head. And this is one of those Larry David moments where it's like, okay, Larry David's not the problem here, right? Like this dude is the fucking problem, right? Like,
yeah, he flips the guy, like he flips out.
Yeah, like come on, yo. Like he gets out the car and he starts like yelling, like, hey, I'm talking to you, right? Are you leaving or not? Are you just I've been driving around for 20 minutes trying to find a space. And I'm 100% team Pansy right here. Like, does it look like I'm leaving?
Like, nah, yo, get out. Get it now, yo. This guy. No. I'm pro sob with the cardboard over the window. Like, look, get out of here. Look, I'll tell you this. I'll give you a personal story. I was once when Arundel Mills Mall opened, like originally. Right? This is back in the day. This is a very local story. It was a huge mall near Baltimore. And I was meeting up with people at like Dave & Buster's or whatever the fuck that place is. And the parking lot is loaded because one, it's like 5, 6 o'clock on a weekday. So it's like everybody leaving work type of shit. And it's also a new mall. So everyone's like, oh, they got a Dave & Buster's. It's like, it's amazing, right? Because apparently people have never had shitty chicken wings and bowling in the same place and skee ball. Oh my God. So I'm driving around this fucking parking lot. I'm driving around. And I'm driving around for like 30 minutes trying to find a spot because there's just none except for valet parking. Go fuck yourself. I'm driving around. And while there was not someone sitting in their car, there was a spot. And I'm like about to pull in. I'm like, Xanadu. I found a spot. And the asshole pulled through. Like in the next aisle, he pulled through. And I fucking lost it. I was this guy. I was worse. I was like, you motherfucker, like, what are you doing? And someone pulled in behind him. I was like, oh, like I fucking flipped out. And so, yeah, I agree with the guy in the stop. 100%.
No, that's a different scenario. That is a different scenario. Your spot was stolen. She has that spot and he's asking her to move out of it. Yeah, no. You don't know what I'm doing. I could be waiting for somebody. You don't
But
know.
all she had to do, all she had to do is answer. He was like, I live around
all
me.
you have to do is mind your fucking business. How about that?
Well, fair enough. Look,
out of here. Don't ask me, hey, can you move out of that spot? What if I just pulled in? You don't know.
I've been driving for 20 minutes. I ain't seen your ass around here.
I'm waiting for somebody. You don't know. Get the fuck out of here.
This argument is hilarious.
Their exchange was fucking hilarious. She called him like a nutter, and he was like, "You ain't getting none of it. You ain't got nobody to give you no nut." And she was like, "See, that's your problem. You got sperm on the brain." And he's like, "Yep, and ain't none of it for you." I was like, "God damn."
No. She says, "You have," because this is amazing. She goes, "You have sperm on the brain." He goes, "Yeah, and none of it is for you, you barren bitch." I was like, God damn. Which is like that's a perfect curve. Like you would just play the music as it like transitions to another scene. Like it was just wonderful. That scene was really great. Because she was just like, yo, go fuck yourself. And he was like, all right, bet, go fuck yourself. And they just started yelling at each other. So they both got off some pretty solid insults.
And but like here's the thing though, right? Like the second she started feeling bad because like, oh shit, like fuck, maybe I played that wrong with that woman in there, right? Damn it. Like what am I gonna do, right? That's gonna be in my head all day. Here comes fucking British Glenn Turman with his with his bad fucking attitude. And she's mad all over again. Like she's just like she gets the resolve to be mad at the world again.
Yeah, and it also feeds this narrative that she has that she's constantly harassed when she goes out, right? That feeds into this fear of fear, making her agoraphobia that much worse, right? Like, and there's another scene coming up where it's like she just has a hard time anytime she goes out. Some shit pops off. Look, this shit at the grocery store is wonderful. Like, hilarious. I'm sorry. Again, I love this movie. They just like, oh, there's a white person in the scene, not doing nothing. Now you getting it too. For no reason at all. She was like, what the fuck did I do? Which again, I don't feel sorry for them, but it was hilarious. Then we get another scene of Chantelle working in the beauty shop. And just chatting it up.
This woman is like, yeah, I met this cab driver, and he's like, and he ended up like stalking me because like he knew where I lived at because I used him all the time. And he was a good looking guy, whatever, but like I didn't need him for a while. And all of a sudden he wound up on my doorstep and he was like, oh, I was just concerned about you. Like, do you need anything? Or, and she was like, what? This is so incredibly unprofessional. And then Chantel's like, so where y'all going on y'all date? And she was like, well, you're taking me to such and such. And, I might wear a little something, to keep the girlies out for him and shit. And she's like, all right. Well, maybe I won't. She's like, look, you just need to calm down. All right. Chantelle is the voice of reason and shit in everybody's life.
And it also just goes to show you, like, these are her interactions when she's out, right? Like, as bad as Pansy's experiences are, Chantelle's experiences are as coded as normal as anything, right? Just with strangers and whoever, she can just like, she just can be a person in the world with no problems. Which has got to be rough, being a sister to somebody who just cannot do that, right? Like you just cannot have these like sort of regulated conversations, so to speak. Yeah, she also says she's got like 6 kids. I'm like, God. 6 kids.
Yeah, she's like, I already got. Well, come on now. She's like, I ain't giving it up on the first date. I already got 6 kids. I'm just gonna, wear something over the shoulder and something to accentuate the good bits. I'm gonna put a fuck 'em dress on.
I mean, do you, girl? But like, use a condom. 6 kids.
Yeah, you got 6 kids, lady. So Chantelle is finished with the client, or the client goes to smoke a cigarette, and and
That's not what they call them there.
It's Pride Month. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that now.
Yeah, because he says it all the time. Otherwise, just for our gay listeners,
yeah, cigarettes. Yeah, cigarettes. That's what I say. Cigarettes. And I'll say retarded. I won't say that other word though. I don't want to be offensive, guys.
I will say this: I was watching that show Tires, and they did have a joke, and he was like, "So, what do you think your the chink in your armor is?" And Shane Gillis was like, "Like, say that." That shit had me cracking up. I was like, "Yo, we got to stop saying that term. Like, that phrase is insane."
Yeah, TR, stop saying that word. And so Chantelle goes to call her sister, and her sister's like, "I'm at the," and she's like, "Hey, you coming with me to the cemetery or what?" She's like, "I'm at the grocery store. I'll call you back." And
no, she was like yelling at her. She was like, "I'm not confirming anything." Like, it's like, okay, just relax,
chill, man, just chill. And she's and the cashier is sitting down and ringing her up or whatever, and Pansy's got something to say, and this black woman is behind this white woman, and the black woman is like, "Yo, just leave her alone. She's doing her job, and can you just be quiet, and so she can hurry up." And Pansy says something to the effect of like,
she says, "I'm running late. I have a new client." Go ahead.
Yeah, she says, "I have a new client," and Pansy's like, "Your gentleman client is not my problem." Like, God damn.
Yo, I burst out laughing. I was like, yo, one, that's really fun. Two, that's a super quick response. Like, that's like that, like she fucking nailed that insult immediately. I was like, God damn. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Whatever she got going on does not take away from her fucking ability to be witty. It does not.
Right. Like, God damn. And they start arguing back and forth, and it's just like, "Oh, you better back up." And the white woman is like, "Stop, please." Right. And she turns to the white woman. She's like, "Oh, you shut up." Right. You're standing there looking like an ostrich. Right. And she I mean,
she does. She does.
I mean, she got like the underbite, right? Like she's just a non-existent chin, and it's nothing there, man.
Look,
nothing there.
I was gonna be a dick. I was gonna say she kind of looked like Roger Ebert at the end, which ain't right. I shouldn't say that. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah, just say she looks like a piece of string, just like she says in this movie.
Oh, that shit was funny. Like, she's just so mean to them, yo. Like, you talking about, you ostrich? I'm like, she got you dead to rights, my nigga. Like, she kind of does. Sorry to say.
I don't know who this cashier is, but this cashier is cracking the fuck up, yo.
Like, by the end, she's like, she's super laughing, like, some of this shit is mad. Oh my goodness gracious.
We get a couple quick scenes to just kind of pad out the movie. We get a scene of one of Chantelle's daughters, Kayla, who works at like a fragrance factory. I don't know what they're called. And they're testing out a new, scent that is coconut free. Well, this scene has literally nothing to do
with anything really. So the only thing I thought of, because I was trying to sort of catch what this scene may be about, I think it's just a general, like, one of two things. The general, like, see, white people really ain't shit. Like, she's being treated like dog shit for next to no reason, right? Like, she has this viable idea, and this white woman who is her boss doesn't like it, and so she's being like incredibly dismissive and frankly pretty disrespectful to her. Like, she's got like all this data, like, this is why we would go coconut free, and look at all these people who would want this and everything else, and she's just like, yeah, it's a small demographic and I don't really give a shit. Like, kind of likely dismissing what I assume are black people who would benefit from this. But I think it's just that sort of like general, like here's some good old fashioned British, like like white sort of race. I don't even know if I'd say racism, but just a very dismissive way of behaving towards black folks. And then I think the other aspect of that is showing Chantelle's kids, they have their own sort of like inabilities in the world too, right? Like she can't be honest with her sister about how this meeting went, right? Because she wants to come off as everything is okay all the time, and so not dealing with like a level of disappointment, not dealing with whatever. I don't want to say trauma. That's a big word for this scene, but not dealing with this disappointment that happens in the scene. So everything has to be like happy-go-lucky, and maybe that's a part of like what Chantelle has kind of dumped on them. Is just like you always need to be happy, you always need to be positive, versus kind of truly dealing with the situation. Because that's also a bad thing, right? Where you meet people and they're like, no, everything's great. It's always great. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's like, okay, you're going to have a falling down moment at some point here. Like that's just the way you're acting is not normal. So I think maybe that's also a part of it, but I don't know. It doesn't tie into the sort of the main plot of the movie at all, but
yeah, it could be gone and you wouldn't, the only thing you would miss is these two beautiful women, and
yeah, that's quite literally.
I'm perfectly fine with looking at Sophia Brown on in this movie, or at any point.
Yeah. Oh, and we forgot to mention the next scene is the other sister at a meeting with her boss, and her like they have a screw up. But her boss is black, and it's like, oh, it's our bad. It's not. This is not your fault, right? Like there is. I think maybe that's also the juxtaposition is look what it's like to work for black people, and look what it's like to work for white people. Like I think that's also part of it. So, and look, I'm okay to put that in there. Again, you didn't need the two scenes, but there's nothing harmful about it because the movie's only an hour and a half anyway. But then you also get to see more of them, so that's pretty great.
Yeah, fine with
it. No one's losing by looking at these scenes being in it. We see Kurtley come home, and he's home from work, and he knows something's up because the kitchen is a mess. He's like, "Oh shit! Like, did Pansy die? Like, what the fuck is going on?" He runs upstairs, and he finds Pansy in the bed because she is, she's having some sort of, well, I assume this is all from the day of massive dysregulation of like the furniture store thing and then the guy in the car. Like that's a lot. That would be extremely draining for someone. And he goes and he wakes her up and she's like, she fucking is flipping out. And again, she wakes up like yelling and screaming. And he says, "Hey, it's like 25 past 6. Like, I'm just checking on you. Like, the house is a mess. Like, just checking on you, okay?" And she was like, "Cook dinner for yourself. Like, kind of fuck you. If downstairs is messed up, go clear it up." It's like, fair enough. I mean, I think he was kind of just wondering what was going on. But also, like, you can put the groceries away, dog. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, it's pretty easy. So, yeah, and then she sort of goes off about her whole day, about how she saw some filthy woman on a couch, and then
man tried to kill her in a car park.
Yeah, somebody tried to kill her. Like, and cheer yourself up with your fat-faced baby and mind your business. I was like, okay, I don't even remember any of this. Like, holy shit. And she's like, "You don't know my suffering. You don't know my pain. Go cheer up your husband, put a smile on his face for a change." And I'm like, what about you, though? Like, does he have a smile on his face ever? Probably not. But, I mean, you going through it, girl. I understand. And then she starts to flip out about having to go and put flowers on her mother's grave and just saying like that makes her sick. And she just, doesn't like having to, bawl her eyes out or put down flowers or, like, and have her grief hijacked, and she says she's sick to death of it. Like, all of it's coming out. Like, it's like when you're sick and you just like start just vomiting. Like, she's just, all of this shit is just coming out of her. And so she's like, no, I'm not going to cook dinner. Like, go cook it yourself. All right. And smash cut to guys doing what the guys do, ordering takeout.
Yeah, ordering out. Like,
I don't know how to make all that. Like, fried chicken? You got it.
You get something for me? Like, no.
Which is that's a mistake. But I guess she doesn't eat meat or something.
She doesn't like chicken or whatever, right? Like,
see? That's how you know she not well. Like, she need help. You're going against your ancestry, girl. Come on now. Yeah.
She's like, don't worry about it. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and then and then she said, I'm going to the dentist, right? She's like, something's wrong with me. I'm aching. I'm going to the doctor, right? And then right before the scene ends, she sees a fox in their yard and flips the fuck out. And she's like, the fox is looking at me.
Okay. Get into the other garden. This fox is like, what is happening right now? Like, I'm just chilling, bro. Like, it's not that serious.
Right. Like, y'all got any rabbits or something, man? Like, yeah, I smell some chicken. Y'all got some chicken in here, man? I don't know. We cut to the doctor's office, and a different doctor comes out, and she's like, hey, Dr. Greenberg and Betterman is not here. And she's like, well, what happened to him? Where is he? And the doctor,
his name is literally Dr. Goldberg. Mike is just being a dick. I mean, he is, but like, it's Dr. Goldberg.
And she says, well, I believe a close relative passed away, so he flew to Israel. And she's like, well, why bother with the dead when the living are suffering right here? Like, well, what the fuck is the point? Why is he going to see his dead relative when I'm here? Like,
I'm very important. Like, okay.
And the doctor's just like, you want to come in, or you want to wait for Dr. Goldberg to come back? She's like, no, I'm here now. Might as well. She called her a mouse with glasses, yo. Like, this.
She's so mean. And she's like, oh, do you want me to examine your heart? No, I don't need any of that. It's like, I'm sorry, are you a doctor? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, okay, lie back. She's like, okay, do you smoke or drink? And she's like, no, I don't smoke or drink. She's like, do you take caffeine? She's like, yeah, I have 3 cups of coffee in the morning, 1 in the afternoon with my programs, and sometimes I take a little espresso, and in the evenings after dinner. And she was like, you ever think about cutting back on the caffeine? And she was like, how long have you been a doctor? She's like 5 years. She was like, that doesn't feel long enough.
I'd have been like 5 years longer than you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, get the fuck out of my office. How about that? And she's like, oh, well, Dr. Goldberg, he's got bedside manner. Like, maybe you didn't learn it at your fancy student medical university place, but he's got bedside manner. I'm like, I bet you give Dr. Goldberg as much of the fucking business when he's there. So she wasn't allowed to do anything, so she can't help her, because there's probably not anything physically wrong with her, if we're being honest. Then she goes to the dentist's office, which, if I was a dentist, I'd be like, get up. Just get up. Get out of my, just get the fuck out of here, yo.
Yeah, she kept moving while she's, probing with her teeth, yo. Like, what the fuck?
And like talking and shit. Shut up. This poor dentist. She's trying her best, and Pansy is just flipping out, right? Like, she is having, like, oh, this hurts, and she's like, took the mask off. Was like, look, if you're not happy with these services, you can go to another dentist's office. Like, get the fuck out. And you know what? Respect to that dentist. I agree. I'd be like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah, her pain in her jaw Which is probably that could probably be real. But who the fuck knows, right? Like all of this stuff could be sort of mentally induced. Although I feel like when I had like a jaw problem, I was taking a medication and I wasn't like I had just started the medication, and it caused me to have like I would get angry like a lot, and I found like I kept clenching my jaw to the point like I literally called my doctor. I was like, "Is this a normal thing?" He's like, "Yeah, your dosage is off." It was like because I would just clench my jaw all the time to the point of like absolute pain. So, your neurology is important. Like it is. So it could be real. Then we see Moses. He's walking. He's doing one of his walks, and he gets harassed by great value Chris Rock and some other dude. But they make fun of him like you're fat, whatever. I'm like, this dude is 22 years old. He looks like Mark Henry. I'm like, yo, pick these niggas up.
Yeah, yo, like like that dude looks like if you push him to the brink, he's gonna break you, yo.
You're in a world of trouble.
Just leave people alone, yo. Just leave people alone.
But see,
leave people alone.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think he's coded as not being neurotypical, right? Like he's literally being treated in a manner of like a little kid being bullied by these guys. Like it's just.
I mean, maybe. I'm just slow to throw that out there.
No, it's fair. No, I'm just saying that's how it was meant to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So after spending days leading up to the anniversary, getting into fights with strangers, Pansy goes with Chantelle to the grave, where she insists that Pearl, their mother, gave Chantelle preferential treatment and put undeserved pressure on Pansy after their father left them. As Chantelle denies the former claim, Pansy admits her fear that her family hates her, and that Chantelle comforts her by promising that she loves her despite her issues. So this is another very powerful scene.
Oh, I think it's the most powerful, to be honest, in the movie.
Yeah. At one point, they're going back and forth, and Chantelle is just like, "Why can't you enjoy life?" And Pansy says, I don't know. And that's heartbreaking, man.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I know something's wrong with me, but like, what do I do? I don't know what to do about it. It's just, this is who I am. Like I'm broken. And she says she's haunted and it's not fair.
That's a heavy word, man. To feel haunted.
Yeah, man.
To feel haunted.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yikes. And like this is literally just about the halfway point. And this is what I was saying. Like you just see her as just like this wild, raging bitch in every scene before this, and then in this scene you're like, this poor fucking woman. Because you see her, like she's vulnerable around the one person she can be, which is her sister, who's like, look, girl, I know you fuck crazy. Okay, like, but I love you in spite of all of that, right? I'm not just being tolerant of you, as it were. And yeah, that line of haunted, like you could just, and this is the difference between like movies that got lasers in them and this type of acting. When she says that and you look at her face, the way she says it, and they give a 2 or 3 second moment of just, no speech, just facial expressions, that shit feels real. Like it feels, you're like,
it feels way more real that this woman who is going through this horrible thing, her saying the word haunted felt way more real than the other movie where a woman is having a really, really bad day and a cop says, I'm going to find a legal reason to kill you. Like,
seems a bit rough.
I mean, it just like, I mean, there are levels to this shit, right? Like,
yeah.
And
but you know what it is, and I don't want to pile on to that guy. It sounds like he's got plenty of issues of his own this week. Good, fuck him. I don't care. But what it tells you, what it should tell you about, especially about filmmaking, it's not always the over the top shit that sells it, right? Like when you have a good actress and by the way, I don't think Taraji P. Henson is a bad actress. I'm actually not comparing the two of them as actresses. That's not my point. It's more of the way the writing. Yeah, it's the material, right? It's the writing. When you have a good actress, and both of them are, you can if you build a scene like this. I mean, this scene is textbook how you build a scene of taking a person who you are kind of supposed to not like, right? You're not really supposed to like Pansy at this point in the movie. Like you're just not. And if you do, it's because you may have a more personal understanding of potentially what she's going through, or you're very empathetic. But for the most part, you're like, yeah, you're supposed, you recognize she's complex, but you're like, I get that, but like, you were just yelling at me at the furniture store, my nigga. Like you're not supposed to like her. But the way her sister is built up to this point of like this happy-go-lucky person that everybody likes, and when her sister turns around and it's like, why can't you enjoy life? And her response isn't an insult for the first time when called out about something. It's to agree with that person and go, I don't know. I'm haunted by this. Like, it doesn't take, you don't need a fucking bank robbery and all this other shit to show two black women going through shit. You just have to have proper dialogue. And that dialogue is far more powerful because you're writing these characters to feel real. Like Chantelle, when she turned, like the haunted line is powerful and it's delivered perfectly. But I think part of it that makes it really land is that you never see Chantelle look sad. She's always happy-go-lucky, except for that moment she turns around. When she turns around, she's got this sad face, this like, I don't understand what's wrong with you type of shit that you've never seen her like that before. And so you've never seen her that way, and you've never seen Pansy in the way that she is, which is, I'm fucking scared, man. Like, I don't know. This shit terrifies me. That's writing, right?
Yeah.
That's what writing is. So when people go, oh, this movie's boring. This, when you want to talk about like film criticism or understanding film, I shouldn't say film criticism, but understanding film, moments like this are what writing does. Great writing does for even a simple scene of two people standing in a graveyard. It can be powerful as shit. It'd be more powerful than people shooting laser guns at each other or robbing a bank or whatever. The kid's not really dead or whatever the fuck is going on or is dead. But it's just those moments. Like what is not said in those scenes is sometimes more powerful than what is said. Because after she says haunted, Chantelle, like she had looked back down and she looks up again because she recognizes how heavy of a word that is to be used. So, yeah. I mean, fucking no notes. No notes on the scene. It's excellent. And she says it's not fair. Pansy says it's not fair. Like, it's not fair that my life is like this. Which is a wild thing to be self-aware and self-effacing in that like level of psychosis. Which is, yeah. This scene for me was just fucking, as the Brits would say, the tits. Which is just, I always find funny because boobs. But yeah, it's just an excellent scene. It really is, between two really phenomenal actresses. And then at that moment, from then on out, Pansy's broken. Like the rest of the movie, that's it. Put her ass on the shelf. She is fucking done. Like there ain't no more fun shit from her. Like, I'm glad you enjoyed the first half of the movie. Nah, I'm done. and she's just broken. And so this is just the whole thing of like, get this woman some help. She needs to talk to somebody, and it's actually a perfect moment because the defenses are down, and that's exactly when you need to talk to somebody. Because, you know, at least in my opinion. And then there's like white dudes on motorcycles for some reason. Oh, they're riding behind a hearse. I guess one of their buddies died.
Yeah.
So
okay. We see Andy Nelson, who plays Kayla, just running.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, this thing could have been longer for me.
I mean, you know, no notes again. The sisters go to Chantelle's flat for a Mother's Day celebration with their families. Pansy is convinced that her fears about her family not loving her are true and is morose and silent. At one point, you know, and Chantelle and her children are like trying their best, right, to get people open. And at one point, Chantelle asks curtly, you know, how's your people, right? How's your mom, right? It's Mother's Day. How's your mother? And Curtly doesn't say anything. He's just sitting there eating because like everyone is awkward and you know, the Deacon family is just kind of dead inside. And
hey, that's what it mean you. That's what you and your family, yo. Yeah, y'all can't come over to my house. You niggas are depressed. God damn. What did you like? How did you take? I couldn't get a beat on the whole Curtly not responding thing. What did you think of it?
I thought Curtly was just kind of going through the motions, man. When he's around Pansy, I feel like he's just kind of beaten and broken down, right? Every time he tries to say something, he's yelled at, or you know, I think he just kind of shut down, and that's pretty much just it.
Yeah,
you know,
that was.
I don't even think he was thinking. He just.
I want to go home.
It's just like, let me enjoy this meal before I got to go home. Back to, you know, my life.
Can you imagine?
No, I cannot. I don't want to.
You just every day you open that door, you're like, "Fuck!" God, God damn, life sucks. Yeah. And then we see the one daughter. Hello, and Chantelle. They go in the bedroom. She's like, "Yo, what is like, fuck is going on? Like, why is everybody being weird?" And she's like, "Oh, you know, your aunt thinks that we hate her," and she's like, "No, we don't hate her. Like, fucking crazy. Like, the fuck is going on?" And she's like, "We don't hate people. Like, knock it off."
So Chantelle pulls Pansy aside and is just like, you know, what's up? And she's like, you know, they have a discussion where she basically says, you know, I never really loved Curtly. I just, you know, married him because I was afraid of being alone. And she's like, well, then divorce him. And she's like, no, I can't do that. And
she, by the way, she says she doesn't like them very much, including her.
Yeah, she said she don't like them. She said, I can't stand the sound of his voice, meaning her son.
Her son. Yeah, about her son. See, but that's what I'm saying earlier. Like, what is that? Like, is that real, or is that what she's going through mentally? That sort of is the mask by which she sees things. That's like it seems odd. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I think you know, everything is usually a combination of a lot of things, right? Like nothing. Very rarely are things a binary choice. And I'm not saying you are boiling it down to that. I'm saying
No, I get that. Yeah.
I'm saying, I think that she probably married Curtly out of fear, right? Because she, like you said, she fears fear, right? Like she's scared of everything, right? She's scared of being alone. I think she married Curtly out of fear. She doesn't really care for him. I think she had the baby by mistake, had Moses by mistake. She didn't necessarily want a child, and that breeds resentment, right?
Very true.
And I'm leaping, right? Like the movie doesn't intimate this, right? But this is what I'm gathering from this character, right?
Yeah, no,
Because that's what like decent art does, right? You kind of flesh things out. And I think she doesn't like, this is the type of person that you put on Suicide Watch.
Yeah, no, there's a number of lines where even Chantelle's like she kind of makes a face like I'm tired, like I want to just close my eyes, like forever, or like you got to be very specific in those kind of situations because that's what it does feel like that. Yeah, I mean, I would be like, you really need to talk to somebody, like you do, because your language feels a little scary to me, like it just does.
And she's afraid of being alone, and her sister's like, I did it. I'm alone and I can do it. And I know you can do it. And you won't be alone. Right? Like, because like you have me. Like it's incredibly touching. And she says, well, Carlton, which I assume is their father, she's like, he shouldn't have left us. And she's like, and the sister's like, well, he did. And like, we can do this. This is another, like, she's like, she was always criticizing me, right? Like down to like talking about the mom, right? And the sister's like, she couldn't have, the dad left. She couldn't have done any of this without you, right?
Right.
And she knew it, but she didn't tell her that, right? Mom didn't tell Pansy that. And it's hard, man.
That's a lot of weight to put on a kid.
It's a whole lot of weight to put on a kid. That's why I'm adamant about keeping my kids and not letting them grow up too fast.
Yeah.
And they're not little men. They're boys. Let them be boys. Because life is going to hit hard and fast, and you need to be able to enjoy this shit now. Otherwise, you'll be 40 years old playing with fucking toys, trying to get your goddamn youth back.
Sad.
And it is kind of sad. It is kind of sad
and pathetic and lame.
Look, I know what I am. I don't need you co-signing that.
I'm here to let you know, in case for some reason you forgot. Yeah, no, but like that idea of losing your spouse for whatever, divorce or God forbid death or anything like that, and then having to lean heavily on your kid in order to like help raise your other kid or something like that. That happens a lot.
Treating them like a kid, right?
Right. Like you're giving them all the responsibilities and then also hammering them like for being a child. It's like, okay, how do I deal with that? That's a tough thing. That's a really tough thing. And look, we don't know what kind of trauma Pansy went through. I mean, there's things that are sort of like touched on lightly, but I have to imagine that sort of like, here, you need to be doing the heavy lifting on some of this stuff, kind of fucked her up. And if she was already a kid who was kind of vulnerable to those things, or maybe she wasn't in the best of just mental state, and then having all those things dumped onto her could have just broken her, or she could have been totally neurotypical, and those things fell onto her, and it was just too much, and it broke her. right? But we don't know. But there's a scene here where Moses says that he brought his mom flowers at the house, and but she had gone off, so she couldn't she didn't see them, and she just starts laughing. And this is this is in the moment where she's not cracked a joke, cracked a smile, even insulted anybody. She's just been sad, and she just starts laughing, and then she begins to cry. And she says, thank you, Moses, like in the middle of her crying. And it's just, there's a million ways I think to read this, but the way I saw it was just like, it was an overwhelming moment to know that her son got her flowers, and then just sort of reminding her of just putting flowers on her mother's grave and everything else. And so she felt happy about it, which is where the laughing came, but it doesn't, like, the laughing is not a normal response to that, but she doesn't see the world in a quote unquote normal way. And then the crying is this overwhelming aspect of like sadness for where she can't enjoy these moments in a normal way. Right. Like going back to the graveyard and her confession to her sister. So and like everybody is just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And I don't think she knows either. Like, she's just going through these like rushes of emotion she can't handle because she needs help.
Yeah, I think she, she's adamant that everyone in her family hates her because, she doesn't really care for them too much. And the fact that he bought her flowers unprompted was like contrary to that. Right. And it's like, oh, I guess I was wrong. Like maybe, he does love me. And maybe she just, everything is kind of going through her head at one time. And, there's an old saying, you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Sure.
And I think that's what this started as. But, I think that that the crying is the result of not being able to keep that up. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's just to overcome with a lot of different emotions. And, when they go home, they get the flowers, and she, the first thing she does is she puts them in a vase, right? Because she is actually very appreciative of them. And then she, I guess she is taking what her sister said to heart about, like, maybe you should just kind of leave them and work on yourself, right? Put your mask on before helping other people, right? Like, and as we said last week, like, taking care of you is not selfish.
No.
And it seems like it, right? Especially when you're in a relationship, and that's all people do is talk about like sacrifice and what do I bring to the table and what do you bring to the table. Like,
by the way, if you ask somebody what do they bring to the table, shut up.
Right. Like,
dumbest fucking argument. Just shut up.
Right. How about let's build a table together, dummy.
Nah.
Like,
what kind of gay ass partnership? Is that the word we're looking for?
And she puts the flowers in a vase, and she goes upstairs and she takes all of Kirtley's clothes out of their closet. She throws them out of the room, and Kirtley comes upstairs and he's like, what's up with that? And she is pissed at him because she's like, my sister asked you a question and you couldn't be bothered to answer it. You just sat there and you ate all her food. And she said, how's your mom? And it's Mother's Day. And you didn't have the decency to answer her. You just sat there, eating her food, stuffing your face like a pig. You disgust me. And Curtly,
I thought for once he was going to say something.
I thought like this was the moment when my wife was like, "Oh shit!" Like he about to do something, right? Like he about to like flip out, right? And I'm so glad he didn't flip out.
But he knows that her responses are over the top. Like he's aware of it.
He knows, but he's like, I'm only gonna be so many motherfuckers. Right?
Yeah.
And he goes downstairs and he takes these flowers, something that he knows that she likes, and he takes them out of the vase and just throws them outside.
Yeah, you go.
That's his fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? That's his fuck you to her. And I do believe that he cares for this woman. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, it's like I can't put up with this forever. And when you throw somebody's clothes out of a room, I mean that's the universal signal for like we're done, right?
Yeah. Also, like it's wild because like they don't have a lot of stuff. She got rid of all his shit in like 2 seconds. I was like, damn.
Yeah, all his worldly possessions fit in a closet.
Yeah, she just smashed that shit together like a Dagwood sandwich. It was like, get it the fuck out of here. It's fucked up. Like that's it. Now, if my wife was trying to throw out my stuff, like, you got a lot of T-shirts you're going to have to pick up and walk off a shelf. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for you.
Out of here. Yeah. And she, and you know, it was just kind of his last, like, this is the last straw. I'm going to take something that you like and throw it out. And part of me is like, good for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because like there are other people in this dynamic. Now I know we're talking a lot about Pansy because the movie is about her, but it's also about the people that are around you. Yeah. And if you don't get help, especially if you know you need it, it's not just you're affecting. You are affecting the people around you.
100.
Right? 100. And you know, you are affecting the people that care about you and love you. And you know, it's more than one person, basically. And while I am firmly in the you need to take care of you because you can't take care of other people without taking care of you first, like that's all part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I think the entire, I don't want to say the entire premise of the movie, but it feels like at least the relationship between Pansy and Chantelle is all about sort of their cascading personalities and what they do to their kids, right? Where Pansy sort of, and not to just their kids, but their families in general, like Pansy's shit that she's got going on pushes down to Moses in very obvious ways. It pushes down to Curtly in very obvious ways where he feels completely sort of neutered as a husband to like say anything to her, right? And Moses kind of feels the same way, right? So he's just like, I'm just going for a walk. Like this is the best thing I can do is just get the hell out of here. And then on Chantelle's side, like she's made two young women who are very like happy go lucky and everything else. So I do think it's just like it's a very much a nurture versus nature kind of conversation that I think is happening between those two sisters and their families. But then we see a scene of Curtly and his business partner, by the way, who Pansy earlier was like, this guy's a fucking moron. Basically, it's like turns out that guy's like really smart. Like he's just kind of a dork and knows like a lot of things. He's always like, oh,
he knows trivia. He's a trivia dork.
Yeah, he's like, did you know the tower at Big Ben? Blah blah blah. It's like, yes, I did know that. Shut up. But he's not a moron. Like he's actually a pretty smart guy. but him and Curtly are moving a tub that they took out of a house, and they're bringing it downstairs. One, why are you putting the old man at the part with all the weight at the bottom? Hey, you don't do that. Come on, man.
Bro.
Put your young ass down at the bottom. Get out of
here. No, you know why? Because you said he's smart.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I guess whose bag is not going to get blown out. Just not probably the term I should use in this scenario. Just saying, mean something different. Anyway, so Curtly hurts his back pretty badly. I guess, like he ruptured something or whatever. And he takes Curtly home, and he brings him into the living room and sits him down. And Curtly's like, go upstairs and get Pansy. She's upstairs, and he goes in, and she's asleep, and he's like trying to wake her up, and she freaks out. She's like, what are you doing in my house? And he's like trying to explain. She's like, I could have been naked. And she's just yelling and just flip the fuck out. Which is not a good feeling if you're trying to like wake somebody up to help their spouse, right? Like, you don't want to be involved. And I think he had he knows Pansy, so he knows what type of person she is. So
yeah,
he didn't really
going up there.
He's like, I'd have yelled from the hallway.
I'd have rapped on that door like the fucking police.
hey, going up. Who is it? It's me. Relax, please. For the love of God, don't yell at me. And so Curtly is just sitting there. Back is fucked up, and his partner leaves. And then we smash cut to seeing our boy Moses sitting by a fountain. And he's got his headphones on. He's just chilling. Ain't bothering nobody. And this woman, who is super, super cute, offers him what appears to be a gummy worm. And he's like, okay, I'll take one, of course. And then she's like, oh, can I come sit next to you? And she comes and sits up next to him and is like talking to him. And like his life might be okay. Right? He's, this woman is, I don't know if she's like hitting on him, but probably a little bit. And like he might do all right. So that's sort of like a good ending for him. Again, if you're looking to meet beautiful Nigerian women, apparently London is the place. If you can't find them in the U.S. Or don't want to travel to Nigeria. We see Curtly's partner. He leaves, and the movie just ends with Curtly sitting there with his back in complete spasm. He's sitting in his chair, and he's crying because he's in massive pain. And Pansy is just sitting upstairs, and she has not left the bedroom.
Yeah, because shit, like who's gonna help me, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm trying my best to help this woman, but like now I need help, and I got nobody. At least that's how I read his. Yeah,
the single thug tear streaming down his face.
Yeah, and Pansy, she's sitting up there, but like, I don't know if it's just because she's so anxious. I don't know if she's like doesn't want to confront him because of the things he said. I don't know, but she's just up there, and then cut to black. Yeah, man, this was a fascinating movie.
Yeah, like that ending. Like I was saying earlier, that ending is sad as fuck to me because it highlights the one thing that is, to me myself personally, is the most horrifying thing in life, is that you would end up with somebody that in your most vulnerable moment, they wouldn't help you. Right? Especially as you're getting older and they're just like, nah, you on your own, big dog. Like, the fuck? Like, I partnership. Like, well, you ain't rising and grinding enough or whatever, right? So I'm out. See, that's what happens when you base your entire relationship on money. That's stupid. So, but that's a really terrifying thing to get all the way to a point where, I mean, they got a 22-year-old son. they ain't gonna like Curly ain't gonna be working forever, right? Like they're older folks, right? They're probably in their 60s at this point. But that idea that you do not actually have a partner that you can rely on, especially in a moment like this, is really fucking terrifying. Like that feels very, very scary to me. That's why you should give a shit about who you marry, by the way. Like you really should care about that. Like don't do that shit on a whim. Like if you even want to get married. So yeah, I appreciated the ending, and I don't know if Pansy didn't go downstairs on purpose, or she just couldn't.
Can't. Yeah, I think she just couldn't do it. For whatever reason, I feel like her brain is telling her, you can't go down there. And I think you hear her. I think the look, you hear her and you hear her inner monologue.
Right.
Debating about like why she can, why she should, but why she can't. And that's just, acting through the eyes, right? Like, yeah, man, this was an interesting movie.
This is some good. Look, the movie ain't got no lasers in it, but this shit is really good. It is, and that it's just a testament to great writing and great performances. It really is. I love movies like this. I miss adult dramas, and not the kind that you have to sign in for if you live in Texas. Not those type. But I like stuff like this because and also foreign films are great too because they don't wrap shit up, right? Like they're like, nah, your life sucks. Like if this was a French film, they would have just like shot each other or something weird at the end. Like life is horrible. But non-American films, they will just leave you in it. Like, let you stew in that sort of ambiguity, which is I think people should be willing to do. So any other parting words for Hard Truths?
No, this is a good movie. I would check it out. Maybe it'll help you, reevaluate your own life. You know what I mean? Like we all need a little help, and go to
some more than others.
Yeah, go talk to somebody. Like even if you can't afford a therapist, my God, go talk to somebody. Get right.
Yeah. I look. Fucking no notes, man. Mental health is real important. Like it just is, especially in our community. We got a whole heap of other traumas that came way before us, but they are very much embedded in us, and we have to deal with those things because then we also got the regular shit of life on top of that. And if you never dig into anything, it just keeps piling up like a game of Tetris until you lose. So, all right, that is it for us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that conversation. And we will be back next week for a preview episode for episode 285. Later, guys.
See you.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.